And what is going on YouTube? Just another gaming channel, bringing you just another video. So ladies and gentlemen, I am actually on True Vault Hunter mode. This is normal mode with my level 48-ish character, 47, 48. I just saw dragons a few times, just farming a bit of Iridium, so I thought I might as well record one. I've not been too good with videos for last week. I do apologise. It's just I'm averaging about 6 hours of sleep a month at the moment, which when you say it out loud, I don't understand why I'm not insane. In fact, I feel like I'm on the verge of insanity most of the time. So I suppose it's no surprise. But yeah, holy shit, guys. The Expanse. I mean, I am promoting this as if I'm being paid by these guys. These guys should pay me, because holy shit, it's amazing and I can't help but promote it. Guys, it is a perfect look at a very likely reality if we ever finally get into space. Now, there's issues. I feel like I'm depressed like nearly all the time, and one of the main reasons, believe it or not, is because of our technological level of advancement. I feel like I was born 10,000 years too soon, maybe 100,000, a million, 200 million, a billion years too soon. I don't know, but I feel like I was born too soon, and it's so frustrating. And you know what? Do you know if there was no religion, we'd be about 1,000 years more advanced technologically, socially, intellectually. Because for almost just under 1,000 years, religion, you know, the Dark Ages, stopped any sort of progression in science. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, think about that, guys. Think about it. But the things that are stopping us now are basically politics and money. And it's so frustrating because the oil companies, the media companies, all these multi-billion-dollar companies have the money to invest in space travel. I mean, these guys really want to make a profit. They want to be the first company. So a lot of people, economists, scientists, theorists, have said that basically the first person to become a trillionaire will be the first person to mine an asteroid for its resources. Asteroids are basically made up of, well, not exactly the same stuff as Earth, but things like platinum and diamonds and all the things that are rare, which makes them valuable and expensive. These are created at the point that a sun goes supernova. So the rarer elements like diamond, platinum, all the precious metals and gems, they're the atoms, subatomic particles that make up the molecules that make up the structure of these items are created in the split second that the sun actually explodes. So our star and our solar system are remnants of another star that went supernova probably many millions of years ago, probably longer than that actually, because it's got to recoalesce all the matter. But anyway, I mean, guys, companies out there, if any random multi-billionaire wants to watch this, seriously, guys, go mine the moon, go mine the asteroid. You will find rich in iron, ore, nickel, all sorts of maybe even unknown components. You know, but these companies have the technology to push us into a new era of space technology and travel. Now, the amazing thing and most unsettling thing about the series Expanse is how close I think it is. There's several issues that I think make it extremely realistic. Now, one is the technology is only a couple of maybe 200, 300, 400 years more advanced. A lot of it is based on real technology that's currently in production or theoretical, or we're just outside our grasp of it. I mean, I just posted a tweet, guys. Did you know? I didn't know this. Do you know scientists initially several years ago slowed down the speed of light from 186,000 miles a second to 37 kilometers an hour? Can you believe that shit? And then they did it for 1/1000th of a second, which you might say that's nothing. But if you when you're dealing with those velocities and those time periods, that is a massive amount of time to slow down the speed of light. We've been able to record footage on cameras that film considerably faster than 1/1000th of a second for years. We can measure time down to Planck times, and you know, I'm not going to really go into what Planck time is, but guys, look up Planck time. It's fascinating. It's amazing. And on top of that, and I thought that was amazing. But a few years later, do you know what scientists did? They stopped light from travelling from 186,000 miles a second to nothing. they actually froze the speed of light. They stopped it travelling for 16 seconds. Right, how they did this, they had an opaque crystal, so a crystal you can't see through, solid. They projected lasers into it that basically removed the opaqueness so that light could travel into it. And then they cut off the lasers and the light got trapped inside, and because of the structure of the crystal and the opaque, it had nowhere to travel, and they froze the speed of light. Now, we know that time travel is possible. The closer you move to the speed of light, time slows down for you, but passes normally for those and a non... We'll say for the rest of the universe, but obviously you go around a massive... Like, there's some stars that are 2,000, 3,000 times bigger than ours. You orbit one of those, time's going to slow down. You orbit a black hole, time's going to slow down. But let's say, relatively speaking, for the most of the universe, time's going to pass. So you might spend 5 years travelling at the speed of light, where 1,000 years might pass, on Earth, for example. But, we don't know the benefits. A bit like, okay, at the moment we can freeze light, but it's got no benefits. But what are you doing? You're storing photons, you're storing photonic energy. We know that something to do with the light barrier affects how time works, and maybe it works in ways that we previously unknown. Maybe freezing light might affect time in some way. I mean, what could it mean storing that photonic energy for space travel? If it could store light as photonic energy, could that be harnessed in, say, space travel, so that we don't need the huge, large and costly fuel tanks? We don't need chemical or solid burning fuels. I mean, then scientists have created time crystals, and time crystals exist in 4 dimensions. They're okay. We know that basically, when you apply energy to something, it creates essentially at the subatomic level and the atomic level, it creates motion. Things heat up, they start to move. You apply energy. This time crystal that they've created is a new form of matter that is constantly in motion with zero energy applied. I mean, that's phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, this could. I mean, it's a very recent breakthrough, but I mean, could quantum computing become a thing of the future? We talk about quantum computing, entanglements of atoms, subatomic particles, information embedded on subatomic particles, light waves, all these different things, guys. I mean, doesn't it feel like we're on the cusp of a technological revolution greater than anything we've seen? Now, a lot of people don't believe in aliens, and that to me is mind-blowing. The statistics alone, guys, I mean, the universe is essentially, there are a lot of exotic things out there we don't understand, but the universe, for the most part, is made up of the same stuff. About the 4 to 500 billion galaxies that we know of, there's one galaxy that's 6 billion light years in diameter. Can you believe that shit? Anyway, we know of about, say, 400 billion galaxies that we've observed so far. Only makes up about 5 or 6% of matter in the universe. We know for a fact that dark matter makes up about 70%, dark energy 20-something%. And it's amazing that we know this shit exists, but we can't see it, we can't measure it, we've never seen it exist, but we know it's there. It's a very simple analogy would be, the wind's there because you can, say you was inside, you couldn't feel the wind, you can't see the wind. It's there because you see the trees moving. Now we know this is why the universe is expanding faster and faster, because of dark energy and dark matter. We know that it's kind of like we all know that we breathe oxygen. We breathe. But if someone just told me you're breathing oxygen right now, I know this because scientists have told me, millions of people have proven it. But no one can prove, a random person couldn't come up to me and prove to me that I'm breathing oxygen. You just kind of take it on face value. But we know we are because we're alive. We can't see it, you can't feel it, doesn't taste of anything. And it's kind of like dark energy don't matter. We're trying to detect it. There's labs in America that are like 2 miles underground. The huge sensors, size of an apartment, like a big ball type object that's a sensor, is suspended over ultra pure water that's found like miles underground. So people don't believe in aliens. So there's it's a lot of stuff in the universe. That 5-6% of the universe is made up of matter, which is mind blowing because there's so much matter out there. But it turns out that's nothing. It's nothing. but it's all made of the same shit. We found organic molecules on Ceres, which is one of the solar system's most outer large objects. You know, it's kind of like Pluto-sized or bigger, but it's out there, right on the edge of the asteroid belt. Not the asteroid belt in between Mars, not the Oort cloud, the Kuiper belt. It's out in the Kuiper belt with trillions of asteroids. It's a big body, moon-sized. I don't know how big exactly. They found organic molecules, 3 different organic molecules, so chance of life on there. Europa, a vast moon on Jupiter, around Jupiter, that is basically a massive ball of ice surrounding miles of ocean, liquid water out there. So we used to think about life in the Goldilocks zone, which is still a pretty good model, but now we're finding that actually life's possible on planets and planetoids and moons that are billions of miles outside the Goldilocks zone. And because of the Io is volcanic moon of Jupiter, Enceladus spits out salt water, and the core's heated because the gravity of Jupiter is so powerful it stretches and shrinks the planet as it orbits, creates friction heat and keeps the core molten. I mean, so you know, the possibility of life out there, and the universe is made up of essentially the same stuff. So there's life here, there's going to be life elsewhere, and just think of the numbers. Our galaxy, about 200 to 300 billion stars. Nearly all of them have got multiple planets. I mean, we've had 6 mass extinction level events, guys. Imagine a planet that evolved around the same time, about 4 billion years ago, but had no mass extinction level events. Can you imagine how advanced a species would be when there's been no setbacks over the course of 1 billion years? They're 1 billion years more advanced. I mean, does anyone think it's... I mean, we're going into conspiracy theories, but, you know, a lot of government agencies put out the truth about a conspiracy and spin it so that people like nut jobs. It's not that governments lie, which is they do, and it's bad. It's that they tell the half truths and they embed the truth within stories, so that it's very difficult to. But think about this, guys. Is it humans have been around for a couple of million years? We've got recorded history from about 35 to 40,000 years ago. First cave paintings and first form of artwork. So we don't have recorded history that long. Talking about first signs of marketing, graphic design, essentially communication language in the form of cave paintings found about 35,000 years BC in France, in what is now France. Now, all that time we've had to evolve, and technology, and think of the leaps we've had in the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Does anyone realise that coincides with the alleged Roswell crash of an alien ship? I mean, are you telling me that it's a coincidence that there's an alleged alien ship crash lands, and then we have a technological development bigger than in the last sort of 60 years, larger than we've had in the last million years? I mean, that is crazy coincidence. If that's not what affected our technology, I don't know what does. We've got to destroy this. This is the next guy to go. See heals. I forgot about that. You're going down, bro. You're going down. But guys, what's one scary thing about the series Expanse is technologically how close it is to where we are, but what's really accurate and scary is 2 things. Now, if we colonise Mars, like Earth would, I assume, tax it for wealth and resources eventually. But I think in every sci-fi, Babylon 5 and the Expanse, in everything I've ever seen involving Mars as a colony and a colonised world, eventually wants to become an independent state. And I mean, in Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty game, it's at war with Earth. I mean, this would happen. I think this would happen. Colonies would want to secede from Earth jurisdiction and want independence, and war could break out. The second thing is, and I think this is absolutely spot on there, what Expanse has done, is the corporations control the solar system. They're the ones that ventured out, spent the money colonising, mining asteroids, mining the water. I mean, and you know, it is the corporations that control the solar system in the Expanse. It's the corporations that develop super advanced stealth warships, private militaries, that if there's any problems out on the belt, on the asteroid belt where the miners are, they withhold water rations. Water is worth 10 times its weight in gold out when you're out in towards Jupiter. Can you imagine? It's crazy to me that how accurate the Expanse writers. I mean, Game of Thrones to me is an amazing series. I love that series, but honestly, when you look closely at the Expanse, I've never quite seen a show of this quality. I mean, and that's hard to say because I watch all sorts. Supernatural is another big one of mine. All sorts of sci-fi stuff. And I swear to God, when you look closely at the acting, the writing, the directing, the cinematography, the art direction, the special effects, the production value is fucking mind-blowing. Guys, I'm not kidding. Like I have been waiting for a series like this for decades. It is many decades overdue. The quality is phenomenal. The acting and the people they've picked, even in slots of extras, whoever's done the casting on this show has done a fucking one of the most amazing jobs I've ever seen in TV production. Whoever's done the casting for The Expanse, I swear to God, I've never seen a cast and crew work. I mean, all the people, like honestly, to people that, I know no one's going to see this video, but to those that work on Expanse, not just those in front of the camera, but the assistants that fetch the director's coffee, the people that book the locations, the special effects, the designers, the writers, editors, script writers, screenplay writers, science advisors. I mean, guys, everyone has done a fucking phenomenal job. And you know, I'm a big science buff. I wish that, I mean, I've got like half a dozen degrees and none in science. Well, I suppose research is one, but it's not really science. But I wish I'd have pursued science as a young kid. I wish I'd have been smart enough to realise I was smart enough I could do it. You know, as a kid, you kind of live on, you know, average student at school. It wasn't until I got into college that I really realised that I had a, you know, very decent mind, and so that's why I've got like a shitload of degrees, because I realised I'm a pretty smart chap. Now, I wish I'd have moved into science. I wish I'd have studied theoretical physics, astrophysics, cosmology. I wish I was fucking one of the pioneers leaving for Mars. If it looked, I swear to God, guys, it's easy to say, I know, but if I was in the position of, say, Donald Trump, worth 50 billion, I swear to God, I'd keep $1 billion for myself. I'd make sure the company's run, but if 49 billion straight to NASA, to SpaceX, because Elon Musk is a phenomenally, like he's a billionaire. But you know what, guys? He fucking used to live in his office. He created PayPal, I think he did, and he didn't want to sell it, and they sold it for like 7 billion or whatever, I don't know, but now it's worth way more. And he was the one that on the board of directors did not want to sell it, and I think he's the one that invented it, the code with his brother, and they couldn't afford an apartment, so they lived in their office. They had a shitty car, so it's like it's rags to riches, you know. So Mr. Elon Musk, hats off, sir, hats off. But if I had the kind of wealth that, say, Donald Trump, I'd be doing what Elon Musk is doing. I would be investing in space travel. Now, people might want to think, well, there's a lot of problems on Earth. We've got hunger, starvation, murder, racism. We've got all sorts of political problems. I agree. I absolutely agree. They're massively important. But do you know what? What's also important, guys, is feeding the spirit, feeding the soul. It's not enough just to exist. Like I exist, and I only exist, and it's not a pleasant way to be. It's not a pleasant way to be alive. I've lost my purpose. I just, you know, things have happened in my life that have just degraded my quality of life, and it's existing and surviving is not enough. And for a lot of people, it is the only way. And I know, and I sympathise. Now, this is the sort of person I am. At one point, I was earning about £1,000 a week. I worked as a university lecturer. I was doing my PhD. Now, I met a homeless guy one day selling Big Issue in Nottingham. I didn't have any change on me. I bought the magazine, but I didn't buy it because I wouldn't read it, so I let him keep it. And then I gave him a tenner. And I didn't ask for any change back, so don't worry about it. And from that point on, I gave him £70 a week for 2 years, for as long as I could afford it, which were 2 years, okay? I earned about £1,000 a week. I paid for a flat for my ex-partner for several years. Helped funded a master's. I saved just enough money to buy food and pay my bills. I turned down a job that was offering me no interview. I don't know, they saw my CV, they'd read about it. I don't know what the job was. This is the thing. I asked and I didn't understand. He didn't really explain it, but I was offered a job that was 6-figure salary. It was 120,000 a year, and I turned it down so I could finish my research because I was really passionate at the time about it. I mean, this is the sort of person I am, and I kept about, out of say an average of about £40,000 a year, I kept about £9,000 for myself, and I gave away the rest. And from 2006 to 2010, I gave away, I'd say, about £110,000 to people I didn't know, people I did know. I used to buy food for homeless people. I really, I had money to do it, and but how many of you guys could say you'd do the same thing? I don't think many would do it. But that's not the thing. There's one point when I was doing my masters, I was looking for work. I just had enough to pay my fees, and I literally had to sell things I owned to pay my rent every month. I couldn't afford food. I honestly couldn't afford food. Like, once I'd managed to just like grind and sell and borrow off my parents and all sorts of shit, I don't know. Like, I had £5 a day to live on, and that £5 a day had to buy all my food, breakfast, dinner and tea for the day, any drinks I wanted. I had to pay for my train fare to Nottingham from Derby, which was about £4 at the time. So I had £1 left, but it also had to pay all my bills. So I had £5 a day to pay all my bills, buy all my food, and £4 of that went on my train fare. And do you know what I did with the pound that I had left over? I gave it to a homeless girl that I passed every day. No joke, no lies. And I went out for weeks without food. And you might be thinking, no bullshit, no, you can't live without food. You can actually live with zero food. You can live for about 59 days. You need water, but you can actually live for about 59 days until you eventually waste away and starve to death. Now, this is the sort of person I am. I just can't help but help people at times, and there's been one person who's helped me in the past, not quite like that, but like they've been very, very kind, and that was one of my partners. But other than that, I've never been. I know if I'm ever in that position, no one will help me like that. I know if something goes wrong, I'm homeless. There's just no recovery for me. So I don't know where this story's coming from. I suppose it related to, if I had billions, I'd invest in space. What's the point in doing that when there's so many problems? And then it related to some of the problems I had. But there's some of the generosity I had. So even when I had no money, I used to try and help people. I had spare fresh quilts I used to give away to homeless people. Food. Even, I know it's probably wrong, but even in colder winter, I used to buy bottles of whiskey and kind of, I know it don't technically warm them up, but just something to help take the edge off. And I used to cook big pots of stew and try and take it out, find people to get big broths, potatoes, vegetables, gravy, chicken, beef. I used to do all this shit just because I felt so fortunate that I could afford my own food. And there's organisations and companies out there that are just destroying, they remortgage and take people's possessions and houses. I mean, look at what's happening in America with all people being deported. Some of these people have been in America for decades, they've got families, and a lot of Americans will say, oh, they take the job. No, they don't. No, they don't, guys. First of all, a lot of undocumented immigrants pay tax through sale tax. They use fake social security numbers, so they never claim the money they actually pay in, and they pay in for decades, just like those of you that work. They have families, and then they get deported, life's a wreck, all because you guys voted President Trump of all people, Trump to be president. Who in the right mind would think someone who was born into a billionaire family would care about the common person, the ordinary person, the non-multimillionaire, non-multibillionaire? He doesn't even know what life is. These people don't know what life is really like. They don't understand that most people never have enough money to survive. There was a story posted on Young Turks, brilliant progressive news show on YouTube. A woman, an undocumented immigrant, went to court because her husband were beating her boyfriend were beating her, tried to stab her. She wanted protection, and the judge ordered protection. But actually, the deportation agency ICE got wind of it, and they had agents, 2 in the courtroom and several outside. The moment she left and she was awarded some sort of protection, she got arrested and deported. Can you believe this shit? They denied the entire thing, that there were anyone there. The judge testified against them. Other witnesses did. I mean, this is horrible. You guys that work for ICE, I don't know if anyone ever watches this, change jobs. How can you do it, guys? I mean, I had a little conversation with my mate Derek. He's a bit frustrated with our NHS and benefit system in the UK because since we've opened up the borders, he believes that a lot of immigrants are getting these benefits, and this is true. But I said to him, and I honestly feel this way: we were just genetically randomly lucky to be born in a country like the UK that has a superstructure and infrastructure and is well developed technologically, financially, and is considered one of the most powerful and wealthy countries in the world. We're just very fortunate. Now, I'm privileged that we have the capacity to help other people. Can you imagine if you were randomly born in Africa or Libya or somewhere that's war-torn or famine, technology's not available, medicine's not available? Wouldn't you do anything to get your family to safety, to a safe haven? And people just resent the fact that people want a better life. People deserve better lives. We're randomly born. We can't help where we're born, who we're born to. I mean, don't forget, America talk about immigrants and all this shit. The entire population of America are immigrants, guys. You wiped out the indigenous population. You slaughtered and murdered almost all. There's not many tribes left. You took the land, you stole the land, you killed them all, called them savages, as you slaughtered children, women, and the fathers. I mean, there's a lot of Americans that agree with me. I know that, and I hope I'm not being overly harsh. But guys, please feel privileged that you've got a capacity to help, and please do the right thing. This world is becoming overpopulated. Scientists believe the first person born has been born recently that will live 150 years because of technology and medicine. Guys, the natural human lifespan for most of our existence has been about 30 years. You were a 30-year-old adult. You were an elder. Guys, we've got better with food, medicine, cleanliness, all these things. Hygiene is extending our life, and it's going to continue to extend our life. And this planet is dying. This planet is dying. We need to leave this planet. We need to colonize not only other planets in the solar system, not just Mars. We need to get to Jupiter. We need Europa. We need, there's 86 moons, 60 moons around Jupiter. I don't know. There's a shitload, tens of dozens, guys. We need to colonize the solar system and beyond. If we're going to survive as a species, we need to stop being idiots. Stop thinking we're the center of the universe. We think we're the only intelligent species. There's 8 million species on this planet right now, conservatively, but we've only explored about 5% of our oceans, so there's probably a few million more, and that is less than 1% of all species that have ever existed on this planet. Guys, we are not the center of the universe. We're not alone. We live amongst billions of bacteria, insects, animals, mammals, birds. Oh my God, guys, come on. Fish and cheetahs and there's all sorts of things, millions of species, plant life. And guys, come on, do the right thing. Fucking let's just stop being racist, ignorant, biased, gayist, fucking stupid creatures. God, I've got a black desk and I've got a black TV. It doesn't offend me. I can't grasp of something so benign and mundane and ordinary as the colour of someone's skin making somebody hate them. I can't comprehend it. Now maybe having an IQ of 204 means I'm not smart enough to comprehend it. I don't know. But I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why people hate gay people, why people hate other races, why religion. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, it's very, 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 very unlikely that God exists, but if he does, we're all praying to the same God. All these wars fought about religion, it's just, if God exists, it's his way of allowing us to communicate with him and understand him respective to our cultures. But guys, before we could communicate properly, we used to worship the sun and the moon as gods, Mother Earth and nature spirits, and many tens of thousands of years before, you know, these newborn religions like Christianity and Islam. Come on, guys, get it together. Humans, you know, one day, like, we've been broadcasting radio signals for about 100 years. So these signals are spread out over 100 light years, 360 degrees spherical, and that includes all suns, stars, and planets, and within about 100 light year radius. Which there's a lot of planets in that radius. If something's there, could have picked it up. That's why we could have been visited by, you know, these sightings. One of the main ones that we call them greys. Maybe they live relatively close by, are way more advanced, and have visited us. But guys, we've set off. Think of the nuclear bombs we've dropped and tested. There's probably several dozen nuclear detonations in orbit and then below the oceans and on land. Now, I don't know if anyone realises the flashpoint of energy that releases into the cosmos is phenomenal. Now, a passing by ship or seen from another planet, it might seem like a supernova. Well, not that powerful, but we've detonated dozens and they're all coming from the same place. Are you not telling me that's not drawn the interest of alien species? Of course it has. We've just lit up a beacon like a motherfucker. We're like, here we are, guys, come say hello. Now, hopefully, when they do arrive, they'll be peaceful. But I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen, and we need to get our shit together if we're going to be able to grasp it, comprehend it, and psychologically survive it. Anyway, I'm sorry to keep ranting on, guys. Just intense moment there. Do apologise. Sorry, I'm sorry I've been on pause menu for a while. I enjoyed the farming of the dragons. That was pretty cool. And I should be uploading more and more videos more recently. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And I will see you on the next one. So cheers.